It's like, or if you claim someone who you're not,
It just feeds me.
right? It doesn't matter. And like because you're not that person who I claim I am, right? That's enough reason for them to cause for them to be arrogant. So in this, we had talked a lot about this idea of being stubborn, even when a person knows the truth. And this is what the danger of arrogance is. Even the Prophet ﷺ, when he describes kibr, he said that arrogance is essentially one who denies the truth, even when they're shown it. And why is that? Is because arrogance, it feeds me and it tells me what? Why, if I'm arrogant, why is it that I'm denying, or why is it that I'm not why am I not accepting the truth? If I'm arrogant and someone comes to me with truth, and I'm like, no, and I don't accept it, what happens?
Because accepting it means that you're wrong, right? So
Okay.
It creates a dissonance because you know it's true. You're acting like it's not true.
Sure.
In order to get along with mimic others.
So, I mean, why create that dissonance, though? What happens? How come I'm not willing to accept it? Is it, no, I think it's important to realize, is it the message? No. That's the problem? No, the message is not the problem. So where is the problem? The messenger, right? Because it is this person that is saying it, I will what? Right? And that's the problem. If I believe I'm superior to this person, anything that comes from this person is going to be inferior. You know, may Allah protect us. Hmm? Yeah, I might. I'm not sure what's going on with this.
I'm just so used to it.
Okay, there we go. And he says that it's most people who are arrogant, where does it stem from?
self-admiration.
Right. It stems from this idea of self-admiration. It stems from this ujub. And the moment I view myself as higher, everybody else becomes lesser. And he closes. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for success, and truly He Azza wa Jal knows best. Now he jumps into talking about those that are humble. Why this transition?
The opposite.
Because it's the opposite, right? So if we understand that the arrogance is the problem, the solution is humility. And the first thing that he starts and talks about is what? So I'll give you guys a second to read this. What is the first thing that he's going to spend time on and kind of attack? Actions. Why? Why start there?
That's what others see first.
Okay, that's the thing that other people see. What else? So if I can learn to control my facial expressions, if I can learn to control my tone, if I can learn to control my delivery, how does that help?
That's half the battle because now like how other people see you is
Okay.
you're not perceived.
But does it matter? Like, I'm not doing this to change perception. I'm doing this to change what? Right, the arrogance that's in my heart. So if I'm working to change this outer perception, right? If I'm taking steps to control my facial expressions, if I'm taking steps to control my delivery.
It does have an impact because like even when you smile more, you do feel happier. Right?
Okay, so meaning that these external actions have a what? Have an internal impact. The other thing I want us to think about, when I'm making myself cognizant of these things, why am I making myself cognizant?
Steer you away from that?
Why am I doing it? Why would I even change my demeanor? Why would I change the way that I speak? Why would I change my facial expression? Why am I doing those things? Because I'm trying to be humble, right? Like this, that's exactly what I'm doing. Like my intention is to seek humility. And the reason I'm doing that is because I want to stop doing those things that are signs of what? Of arrogance. And if I'm making a conscious effort to stop those signs and stop those efforts, that will have an impact on my heart, right? And it'll start chipping away at that arrogance. And he mentions a bunch of stuff, right? So tone, inflection, swagger, the way a person stands. These are all different ways that people show that they're arrogant. And may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala protect us from that. And like I said, all it takes, how do I even recognize these things though?
In yourself.
Yeah. So how do I recognize that I make a face every time somebody other than me speaks? How do I recognize that I'm walking with a swagger? How do I recognize that I sneer at others? That's it. I need a third party to tell me. So even getting to this point, right there, so there's a lot of things and a lot of mechanisms that are kind of implied in what Imam Ghazali is talking about here, is that in order for me to even recognize these things, it requires what? Okay, it definitely does. It requires good companions. Right? It requires friends. Because who's going to point this stuff out to me? Am I going to do we walk around with mirrors, watching how we react or how we deal with people? No. I mean, you can, but ChatGPT is going to validate what I say. ChatGPT is going to be like, "You're an amazing thinker." Yeah, the glaze is crazy on ChatGPT. May Allah protect us. Some manifestations include, and I'm sure all of us have experienced this, or we've done this in some performative way, and may Allah just protect us. Oh, I think the last one I copied twice. I'm sorry. Is that it? No, that's it. You guys ever experienced this? Or seen this?
Refusing to do any work with his own hands in his house.
Yeah. Why? This.
You think you're too good for it.
Yeah, you think you're too good for it, right? I mean, this in some situations, it's okay. Like if you're the man of the house, this is okay. So, but essentially, why are all of these things happening? Because a person thinks they're what? They're better than that. They're above that. No, go ahead.
Can they all stem from that?
So, can these stem from something else? Right? Is it necessary that every single one of these is a sign of arrogance?
It's possible, you said?
So I'm saying it's definitely possible. Do we agree to that?
Yeah.
What are the cases where, okay, no, that's actually not the case?
If you have a disability.
Okay, so you're thinking from the other end, mashallah.
Well,
You're very pious. Ah.
avoiding sitting with the sick and afflicted.
Uh-huh.
Okay, afflicted, but I don't want to get sick.
Right. So this might be even with diseases that are not communicable. Right? So if you like, yeah, I don't know if I want to go to that deaf gathering. Right?
I might catch it.
Right. Or if you go to a space like where maybe people are mentally handicapped, it's like, yeah, I don't feel comfortable. Right? So those, I would say those are probably better examples. Versus going into a space like, okay, well, I actually have weak immunity. Like, does it make sense for me to go and visit all the sick people in the hospital? Right? Like, it's probably not a good idea.
There's the wisdom in that, but I guess like it's also what you're used to. Like,
Sure.
I mean, I don't care to talk to someone who's homeless or something like that
Yeah.
conversation. But
Sure.
for others, they don't even want to.
Yeah, yeah.
They're afraid.
100%.
It could be experience too.
I know, like my property values are going to go down. So like, there's a.
But rent stays down, right? For some people, so it's good.
Allah protect us. But here, let me give another example. I hire a Quran teacher who has the highest qualifications. Right? He knows all the qira'at. He knows how to teach. And he says, I'm not going to teach kids. Is that arrogant?
No.
Why?
Self-protection.
Oh man, they got dark so quick. So 80 years too soon, bro. But okay, why? Why is that? Is that arrogant or is it not? And why?
He knows it's a lot to deal with because you have to kind of babysit too. You're doing two jobs. You're teaching in Quran and you're probably.
But we're hiring you as a teacher.
Huh? Oh, for that reason?
I didn't say that.
See, okay.
I said we're hiring him to teach. And he's saying, I'm not teaching little kids.
Before he accepts the job?
Yeah.
Oh.
That's his like
Why?
standard.
It depends
Okay.
on if he believes he's too good to teach children,
There,
or
yeah.
if he's had a past experience where
Mhm.
he hasn't been able to
Okay.
land with children, so he knows
What if I give a third reason? He doesn't feel it's a good use of his time.
He doesn't feel what?
It's a good use of his time.
Yeah, that's true.
Example.
Oh, okay.
Does it make sense to bring in a geometry professor to teach kindergartners math? You can. And he'll probably do an excellent job explaining.
They don't know basic.
I'm sorry?
They don't know the basic. They have any experience.
It's not about that.
It's overkill.
Right? So when we say overkill, what does that mean? It means that this is not a productive use of this person's time. Because he could do what? What can he do with that same time?
Create another PhD, create another professor.
Right? You can create another professor. Or not just that. It's like, okay, hey, listen, why don't you send me 10 teachers, right? And I can train them to teach. But as for me personally doing it, I might do a great job, but it's not a good use of my time. So is that arrogance? No, right? That's recognition of skill set. And I think that's something that's really important because sometimes we can confuse the two. Creating standards is something that's really important, right? Having internal standards, having external standards, kind of being clear in what that is. Even when I was hired, one of the things I had said, I was like, listen, I have no problem being involved in the children weekend school, but I'm not going to personally teach a class, right? Meaning you can't give me a weekly class. If you want me to come in because the kids have questions once every couple months, or you want to have like a high school class, I have no problem engaging with them. Why? Because teaching these little kids from this curriculum and from this book is not a good use of my time. I can actually help the teachers understand some of these concepts better so that when they go to teach them, it'll be more effective. So understanding skill sets is something that's really important. And sometimes it can come across as I'm too good for that. And there's a very big difference saying that, okay, listen, I can teach little kids. I don't think I am above that. I just don't think it's a good use of my time. Fiscally, we can argue that too, right? If I have somebody who's highly qualified, does it make sense to use corporate funds to pay this person to do an entry-level job? Or does it make sense in a masjid environment to use community funds to pay somebody highly qualified to do something that is entry-level or something that even a volunteer can fulfill? Right, so I think there are a number of layers and a number of angles that it's important to think about a lot of these concepts. So, arrogance, desiring for like people to stand for him. So Ali radiallahu an, karamallahu wajhu, he says, whoever wishes to look at a man from the people of fire, let him look at a man sitting while people are standing before him. Usually, like, what does that create an image of? What do you guys usually think of that does that? it's arrogant. This is usually like this is like a king, right? Right. This is like a very monarchical type setup where the king is sitting and all his subjects are standing. Like, what about standing for a judge when he walks in? Everybody's like, "All rise." Should I be like, "No, I'm not going to feed into your arrogance." I'm saving you from Jahannam, honorable John Walters. And I'm not going to call you honorable. You have to earn that. Hey, what about standing up for somebody who, okay, what if I'm voluntarily standing up for someone? Like somebody elderly comes in, somebody who I know comes in, somebody who I have a close relationship comes in, and I stand up for that person. Is that a problem? No, it's not. What should I not do that?
Whatever you feel like.
Okay.
It's respect. I mean, I guess
It's a sure.
you start kissing or their feet or something. I guess it's
Whoa.
culture. I don't know.
Okay. What? I don't know what culture that is. It's like
I've been exposed. No, but you've seen that like different cultures, like
kissing feet.
they kiss. Well, the mother.
Oh, kissing the hand is different, dude. Yo, this is a hand. this is a foot. These are two separate things. It's like, yo, do I need to have like an anatomy class? Man? Like,
No, in some in the Yoruba tribe,
Yeah.
Nigerians,
yeah.
they like traditionally they literally get on their like stomach. It's like a full.
Oh, like a
bow
sajda.
to this, like they
Yeah.
get flat like this.
No, I'm saying even
lay on your entire
like lay down,
Yeah.
lay
like
down,
planking.
like planking. When an elderly comes,
Yeah.
like go up to you,
Yeah.
plank on the floor, and
Yeah.
that's a sign of
Okay.
respect.
Do
Respect.
they like walk on you or?
The doormat.
There might as well be.
But I'm saying that for us as Muslims, there's a limit to the way that we show respect. Right. So what are the permitted ways for us to show respect? Kissing feet? Right, so like general, like giving salam, right? Giving a salam is the ultimate form of respect for us as Muslims. Like, what about anything beyond that? Like standing for someone, is that an okay show of respect? Yeah. 100%. The Prophet ﷺ, he would stand up for Fatima radiallahu anha when she would come in, right, to greet her. The companions used to stand for the Prophet ﷺ, right, to greet him. Sa'd ibn Mu'adh, when he came, the Prophet ﷺ, he said, "Qumu li sayyidikum." He's like, yo, your leader is here. Like, the Ansari leader is here. Like, stand up for him. Greet him. So you have a lot of ways. That's like one way of showing respect. In some cultures, they kiss. For somebody elderly, they might kiss the forehead. In other cultures, the children might kiss their hands. Right? This is not uncommon. Yeah.
When it comes to issue where they think touching them
Uh-huh.
gives some benefit. So like these sheikhs in like Saudi or something like that, they want to touch them and do this, like as if it gives them something. Yeah.
You've had some very interesting experiences.
I'm serious. Like you think I'm crazy?
I don't think you're crazy. I'm just saying you've had very unique experiences. It's like what party was Saudi was this, man? It's like I was in this basement.
There was an island.
Yeah, what is happening?
I was on the bad side of this.
It was like you must have been on the bad side of Saudi, man. I never experienced that.
No, oh my god.
I lived there for like 10 years. I lived there for like 10 years, dude. I never experienced that. Right, zoom in right. No, I'm just kidding. So do people act extreme in different ways? Yeah, 100%. And I'm sure some of you have seen some of those like cultish Sufi practices where people will they'll greet the sheikh and the sheikh will walk in and then when they want to leave they're like, right, they refuse to turn their back to him as this is real. This I know about. Where they refuse to turn their back to him because they think that's a sign of disrespect. So I think there are some things that we recognize even within cultures, okay, that's not something that's not a normal way to show respect to someone. Anas radiallahu anhu, he said, no person was more beloved to them than the Messenger of Allah. When they saw him, they would not stand up for him because they knew of his dislike for that. And they wanted to stand for him, right? They wanted to show him respect and they wanted to honor him. But they knew that this isn't something that he sallallahu alayhi wa sallam liked. Abu Darda, he said, a servant continues to increase in distance from Allah as long as someone walks behind him. What does he mean by that?
People too arrogant for like someone to walk next to you or like get behind you.
Well, not to say, usually these type of gatherings, like who's that usually with? Like, so if there's an individual with people who are constantly walking behind them, what kind of person is that usually? It can. Wow, it escalated very quickly. It can be. It can be a cult leader, but I'll say let's scale it back a little bit. There's a lot of extremism happening. It can many personalities that's the case, right? With many personalities, many public personalities, right? If they go to a space or they go to a place, it is not, right? It's not strange to have an entourage walking behind that person. So over here, even though this is not a prophetic statement, he's basically giving a warning like, hey, listen, try not to be that person. Because what happens is that the more that this person experiences that, what is happening to his heart? Right? It's very easy for arrogance now to creep into that person's heart, because there comes a time where that person starts to feel what? They feel important. They start feeling actually deserving that people walk with them and walk behind them. And why is it's very intoxicating, right? I think I had spoken about this like previously, that getting on the mic, right? A lot of people, they'll overextend and they'll kind of keep speaking. Why? What happens? They like to hear themselves talk, right? And they convince themselves that what I have to say is really important, right? People need to hear this. The microphone it's actually very intoxicating. Like the pulpit in general, right? Like whether there's a mic or not is irrelevant. But the pulpit is so intoxicating because the moment that a person climbs up onto it, it gives them that sense of self-importance, right? And it makes them feel like, oh, what I have to say is also what? It's necessary, right? That's scary. Like, if I don't share this information, then the information will not get shared, and these people will not benefit from that. May Allah protect us. It's really scary, right? It's really scary, and to constantly, like, a person needs to be constantly aware of that so they don't fall into that trap of the shaitan. This is a good quote. That when he used to walk with his servants, sometimes he'd walk ahead, in the middle, behind, right? Like he would kind of move around. And that's important for him as an individual, in that he never allows arrogance to kind of enter his heart. Hassan al-Basri, very, very famous tabi'i, he himself, he made sure, right? So if too many people started following him, what did he do? He would kind of shoo them off. Like, what are you guys doing? Like, do you guys need something? Do you have a question? Like, why are you following me? But sometimes being part of the entourage, for the person who is following the personality, why are they doing it?
To benefit from what God has said.
Okay, sure. So there can be a barakah thing, right? So if you think somebody is religious and pious, it's like, okay, I want to benefit from this person's blessing. What's another reason? Right, a lot of it has to do with social, right? It's like, if I'm walking with all these people, it makes me feel like I'm what? Like I'm part of something, right? Right. It makes me feel like I'm part of something, or I'm part of this group, and that there's a lot of dangers for it, and it's not strange that you have so many warnings from the early companions and the tabi'in. The Messenger of Allah would sometimes walk with some of his companions, order them to go ahead while he walked among them, either to teach others to rid himself of the whisperings of shaitan regarding arrogance and self-admiration, just as he once wore a new garment in prayer, and then exchange it for an old one, for one of these two reasons. I would say that I would add a reason here. The Prophet ﷺ, did he buy this garment? Usually when he got a new garment, it was gifted to him. So what was the reason that he would wear it?
To thank them and appreciate it.
Right? So a way of showing appreciation for a gift is to what? To wear it, to show it, right? To show it and to use it. Because if I show it and if I use it, what does it make it, like the person who gifted it, how does it make them feel? Right? It makes them feel appreciated. Right? And the moment that he wears it and the moment that he shows, that he wore it, he would gift it. And why would he do that? He didn't like to hold on to worldly things. Right? That's how he saw some. That's how he was. Like he didn't care to really hold on to worldly things. He would do it out of appreciation, which I believe is actually the actual reason. And then he would gift it because he didn't want to develop a worldly attachment to anything. Refusing to visit others. So Sufyan al-Thawri, a very famous hadith scholar, he came to Ramla. And Ibrahim ibn Adham said to him, Ramla is a place. So I think it's in Palestine. Come and narrate to us. So Sufyan came, and it was said to Ibrahim, "Oh Abu Ishaq," so Abu Ishaq is Ibrahim. You send for someone like him to come to you. Like, how are you going to call out someone of such great stature and status, somebody who is the teacher of many of the great muhaddithin, and you're going to call him to your house? Like, wouldn't you go to him? He replied, I wanted to see how he would show humility. So he's like, okay, yeah, I should go to him, but I've heard so much about this person, I want to see what? Right, I want to see if, is he really, is he really humble like that? Right, you know what I mean? Is he really humble like that? Like he has all these students, right? He has all these works. He's so famous. Like he's known throughout the Muslim world. If I call him, will he come? Right? Ibn Wahab, he said, I sat next to Abdul Aziz ibn Abi Rawad, and his thigh touched mine, so I moved away from him. So he took my clothes and he pulled me back, saying, why do you do with me what you do with tyrants? I do not know any young man among you worse than me. So Ibn Wahab, he's the one who's the great scholar here. And he was sitting really close to someone. And they were sitting too close, so he moved away and he pulled them back. And he's like, what are you doing? He's like, what's the problem? He said, you think I'm some kind of like tyrant or something that you can't sit so closely to me? Sitting in such close proximity, what does that teach? And who is it that wants a lot of room and distance? Why does that person seek room and why do they seek distance? So that has a little bit to do with it, right? So one of the things we're commanded to do in prayer is what? Be as close as possible to the person next to us. What is that teaching us? Like, why is proximity so important?
It's so easy to get away from the path, I guess. It's a way to get close to people.
Unity, brotherhood.
You're not entitled to space.
That's it. Right? In the person who seeks space, they think they're better than being with the crowd, right? And space it's a privilege, right? Like having space. How many people don't have large homes? So, and if I teach myself to be in proximity with others, how many of you have ever been like on a subway or a bus or like in a very crowded space or an airport? How does that feel? It's terrible, right? It's very terrible. Does it matter? Well, that's true. So it's definitely worse in India. Well, I don't know. After what I hear, maybe in Saudi it might be worse. I'm not really sure what's going on over there, but I will say this is like, right? It's really uncomfortable, right? It's really uncomfortable. And why is it important to learn how to navigate discomfort? Right? It's not meant to be comfortable. And if I learn to navigate very tight spaces, how many of you have ever visited or been to somebody who's extremely, extremely impoverished? Yeah. And how large are their homes? Sometimes it's just a room, right? It's just a room. Sometimes there's not even a bathroom. And where does everybody eat? They eat in the same place. And when it's like super crowded, how close do I have to sit next to the person, like to the person next to me?
I find that those people are the most humble.
So, but I'm saying humility. Why? Because proximity teaches humility. Right? Like when I'm forced to be really close, because is it natural for me to want to be very close to a stranger? Right? But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, when He commanded us with prayer, do I get to choose who I'm going to pray next to? Right? No, unless I have my own sajada in the first row. No, I'm sorry. But like, I cannot choose who I pray next to, right? The person next to me could be poor, they could be wealthy, they could be from a different country, they could speak a different language. It doesn't matter. I don't have that choice. I have to learn proximity from people who are strangers. Like, I have to learn that. Because again, proximity teaches humility.
Can you dislike it? Is not one of...
There's a difference between disliking something, right? There are certain things that are halal that we absolutely dislike, right? So there might be certain fruits you don't care for. There might be certain foods you don't care for. There might be certain places like it's permissible and halal to go there, but I don't want to go there. I don't like that place, right? There's certain restaurants, but like, I don't like that place. Even with that, it's like, okay, I don't want to be in crowds. And if that's the case, what should I be doing then? If I recognize that, hey, I don't like crowds or I don't like being in busy places. Yeah, it's not. Okay, so I think once in a while being uncomfortable is very important, 100%. Why? But why even go through that? If I dislike it, why should I? What am I trying? Remember, what is the goal? To learn humility, right? So first I need to introspect, why do I dislike being in crowds? Oh, because people are dirty, right? You guys have heard this, right? And the moment I catch myself saying that, then what do I need to do? Then I have to force myself. It's like, okay, you know what? I'm taking the bus today. Why? It's like, I don't care if it's crowded, but it's like, no, like, this is, why do I have this idea that people are dirty? Like, they're human beings just like I'm a human being, right? I'm not being fair. Right? And so that's where we have to kind of introspect and be like, okay, am I doing it out of arrogance? Or I don't really care to spend time outside, or I don't care to spend time with others. Like, I really just want to be a homebody. And everybody has different inclinations, and I think that's fine. The question is like, why? Why am I doing this? Am I doing this? Not because I want to sit down, I want to be at home, I want to read, I need quiet, I need to do this, I have work to, that's fine, right? All that is okay. It's like, oh, I don't want to deal with the riffraff. That's where it becomes an issue, and that's where it becomes a problem. So, Ghazali, he brings this narration, this hadith. Why? What does that have to do with anything? And he mentions that she's a servant. And he mentions that she's a girl. Think of the Bedouin Arabs, right? And think of their culture. And think of, like, I want you guys to like think about all, like, the class system and everything that they had. Like, contextualize this for me.
He's not brushing her away.
Okay, he's not shooing her, right? That's really important. Why? And if he did, what would have happened?
Everybody else would have done the same.
Well, not necessarily everybody does the same, but they would immediately internalize what?
Class like different.
Right? So if there's a certain class of people, I'm allowed to what?
Disregard.
I'm allowed to disregard them and not engage with them. And he's again, breaking those class barriers.
He's resetting the gauge.
Right? Definitely, he's resetting that gauge, because in normal circumstances, when we think of a young servant girl, do we think of somebody who is well off? Right? It's somebody who's probably impoverished, probably somebody who's not dressed particularly well, somebody who isn't the cleanest. Yes? And this young girl is coming to the Prophet ﷺ, the busiest man to ever have lived, and she's grabbing his hand, and she wants to take him somewhere, and he says, what does he do? He goes. And imagine the people who are all looking at this. What are they thinking? In their heads, they're like, this is wild. Right? Like, this is so beyond, because it's like, not only is she like a slave, It's a girl, right? How much value did these girls have? Like after Islam, obviously it changed, but these are people who are still transitioning out of that thought process. And for them, they're just like, this is so beyond and so wild. It's very, you know what I mean? And it's just like, it's just completely destroying this paradigm. And he's like, he had no problem. She's like, she's just taking his hand, and where's he going? Wherever she wants to. Now, what are the circumstances of this young girl? Allahu Alam. Maybe she was an orphan, right? Maybe she was the only one in the family. Maybe she's separated from her family. But there was enough for him, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, to give her that attention and give her that time. What do you guys think about this story?
Inclusion.
Oh, mashallah. Inclusive. This looks like, physically this looks what? It looks really bad. Right? It looks concerning. It's like, okay, this person has lesions, or this person has these marks, or this person, our immediate first reaction as human beings is what? Right? To withdraw and to pull away. Noting this, what is the one piece of information that the Prophet ﷺ had that didn't allow him to shy away from this man? He knew that whatever this was, it's not contagious, right? Because when it comes to contagion, there has to be containment. And why do we know this? The Prophet ﷺ himself said, he said, if a, what is it called when there's like a disease that kills a lot of people? Like a plague, yeah. So he said, if a plague breaks out in a land, don't travel to it, and no one who's in that place should what? Should leave. So they had, conceptually, they had an idea of contagion and contagious diseases. And for him, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he knew that whatever this was, it wasn't contagious. But because of how it appeared, the other companions were what? They were nervous and hesitant. And what did he sallallahu alaihi wasallam do? He made the first step to sit with him and sit near him. Now, imagine this man. How does he feel? Not just happy, ecstatic. He's like, man, everybody's been turning me away. Everybody's been avoiding me. Everybody's sitting away from me. And who do I get to sit next to me? Right? The greatest of creation, sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Right? It's so, you know what I mean? Like, just imagine feeling rejected and dejected, and you walk into a space expecting to see that again, only to be greeted by him, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and like him sitting down next to you. Like, it's so amazing, right? It's like you read stuff like this, and you're just like, how amazing a person, how amazing a being he sallallahu alaihi wasallam was. Like how he would just make other people feel happy. Abdullah ibn Umar, he would not prevent a leper or someone with vitiligo or any afflicted person from his food. Rather, he would sit them at his table. Leprosy, I don't know if it's fully contagious. I think there's a contagious element to it. So I don't know if this is leprosy or it's vitiligo. Do you guys know what vitiligo is?
Isn't that where you like faint?
No. Vitiligo, your skin color changes. So like, it's like a type of albinism, but a little bit different. It's like spotted albinism. It again, it appears what? Okay. No. Okay. Okay. I even it out. All right. All right.
My mom would tell me to shower with milk.
Is that what she did with you? So.
I knew. I knew you were going to use it. I gave you the answer.
It's like yeah, that was the. No, mashallah, it worked for you. So like, it looks bad, right? Like, so a person who has vitiligo, right? It's like, sometimes it's a finger, sometimes it's part of the face. it looks bad, and it seems contagious. And not just that, the other issue with vitiligo is for the Jews, at least up until this point, somebody who had vitiligo, it was actually a bad omen for them. And it was a sign of somebody who had, like, it was like I think it was like a passing down of sin or something like that. I don't remember exactly what the lore is behind it, but they believed that vitiligo was some type of punishment. So, up until the time, even up until the time of Isa alayhi salam, which is why he alayhi salatu wasalam, when we talk about Isa, you guys know that he brought the dead to life. What did he also do? So he didn't cure leprosy. He cured vitiligo. Yeah, it's actually a mistranslation. And why is that more miraculous? Because we still don't have a cure for this, but we have a cure for leprosy. And not just that, this actually had a negative connotation in Jewish culture. So it really made sense for Isa alayhi salam to come and actually cure that. But it's a mistranslation in the Quran. So it's like a lot of the translations, they have it as leprosy, but it should be vitiligo. So Abdullah ibn Umar, he had no problem, inviting these people. And again, what happens is that in like a lot of cultures, it's very easy to start alienating them. And it's unfair because they didn't actually do anything. So I think fostering certain relationships and really saving people's hearts is a really important part of Islam that can be overlooked. Saving people's hearts. Yeah, what do I mean by that? I mean that I shouldn't be malicious toward others. Now, is it possible that I'm respectful, I'm honorable, and I still hurt your feelings? Right? So if I say like, hey, listen, your shoes aren't nice, or like, like if I say something like that, I'm being honest. I don't want to hurt you, and the reason that I'm telling you is because I want you to change something. Yes? Can it hurt? Yeah, 100%. But I'm not being what? I'm not being malicious. So we as Muslims, we should make active attempts not to be malicious. Like we shouldn't actively try to hurt people. So in this situation, the example that he gives, I'll give you guys a second to read it. What do you guys think of this story? And we'll stop here with this, inshallah. Right. So, essentially, what could he have done to make it easy?
Said, okay.
Woke up a servant, right? So, because the first thing he said, the lamp was about to go out, so his guest was like, he's like, hey, listen, I'll refill it. And and obviously, he was the host, and what did he say? He's like, no way, like, you're my guest. I'm not going to let you do this. So, very naturally, the guest says what? He's like, why don't you get your servant to do it? And he's like, no, I'm not going to ask him. Why? Right, he's asleep. Like, I don't want to disturb him. And it's okay. I'll do it myself. Right, so he didn't feel like he was above that. So it's important, right? Like, I think having these concepts and having these ideas of what, like how to show humility, it really, like the more we show humility, the more it can become internalized. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make us from those who are humble. Ameen. Wallahu a'lam wa sallallahu ala khayri khalqi nabiyina Muhammad wa ala alihi wa sahbihi wa sallam. Any questions? No? Okay. Jazakallah khair. I have no idea. Yeah, just leave things as they are.